So now we have the next battle. We have Gaia now taking on Zeox. Zeox is using Royal Paladins. Starts off with a Lake Maiden Leanne. Gives him an early drop and draw. Good hand maintenance for later on, and if he does use Legion, then that's all the better. Calls Silverfang Witch, and also brings out Gareth. Putting it in the front row is a big risk because his opponent can attack it if Zeox feels like Gaia has the ability to do the superior ride. Rides grade 2 and calls Starlight Violinist. So for a Counterblast 1 and a Soul Blast 1, he can get another grade 2 to the field. And it's another breed. Starts off by going straight for Gareth, not guarded. Gets a critical, so 2 damage. And the third check is a heal trigger, so he gets to heal a damage. His ride is Naba mains. He did not do that for the sake of the superior ride. And at grade 2 he's going in just like last game. Starts by attacking the rear just like before. Going for the rear again. Limiting the number of rears the Royal Paladins have on the field is actually a very good idea. Two great spears in the damage zone already. Its skill would be if he rides it, he could counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and call another one. If he has one in hand, that means the last one would come out of deck. Of course, we've yet to see his other grade 3. And we have to see if he has it in hand or if he's just going to misride. He seems to be thinking really hard about what he can do next. Makes me wonder what he's trying to decide. Is he thinking, should I G-assist or not? Does he have multiple grade 3s in hand? Gaia wondering if he's thinking about his next move. Zeox says, no, I'm learning how to play the game. I think that means he's trying to ask a ruling question. Yes, it is. He was trying to ask he was asking about G-assist. He didn't have any doubts that he was going to G-assist, he just wanted to check on how to G-assist, which is understandable. It's still kind of a new mechanic that people sort of steer away from, and you don't really practice it unless you use it. So it makes sense that people ask about it. Rose still asks about it from time to time, as well as other people. So it wasn't exactly a snarky remark. It was just he needed a question answered about how do I G-assist. And for those who are watching and don't know by now, if he doesn't get anything from the top 5 check, he doesn't remove cards from play. It looks like he didn't get anything from the top 5 check. I hope he knows that he's supposed to shuffle. Okay, he does. He didn't get anything from the top 5 check, so nothing is removed from play. He's not going to be at grade 3 for the next turn. I mean, this turn. Which is unfortunate, but at the same time, good. It's good and bad. Mostly bad, just because Ezel is a limit break. He doesn't give it. He doesn't give a crap about if the opponent's at grade 3 or not. He's still gonna limit break. So he accidentally sent his grade 2 to deck, so he got it out and shuffled, making sure to shuffle real good. Gaia no guards. That's actually the best option. Gets criticaled, but that's not bad actually because now he's at limit break. So if he has a grade 3 in hand, he can actually break his limits right now. Platinum Azel. That's an ultimate break. I would have found it funny if he had just called a White Lion from his hand. Well, he just drove check and Azel Scissors, so even if Zeox is unable to do another damage next turn or chooses not to, he still has the option of yeah, the power was 19k, so it's actually not drops another 10k. He drew the card first, so he guarded, so he overguarded because he knew that he was going to get a grade 3. Technically cheating, but at the same time, I'm not going to say anything against it because he was miswriting anyway. Calls out Gobblade. He has to know that Gaia does have a perfect guard in hand, though. So if he just attacks the Vanguard with it and doesn't do anything else, then it's going to get guarded. Uses Milius to bring out a grade 2. Brings out Starlight Violinist. Without a booster, it can't hit, but it does allow him to counterblast one and soul blast one and get out yet another grade 2 unit. And that's a Blaster Blade Spirit, so for counterblast one, it can retire a grade 2 or higher in the front row. If he was going to do that in the first place, I'm almost surprised he used Gobblade, but at the same time, if he tried the other option that he had, he would have been giving Gaia Ultimate Break almost free. Perfect guard. Two criticals. I'm hoping Gaia has 10k shield. And he has a critical trigger. The best option for Gaia now is to activate Stride. Uses the skill, checking the top 5. Calls the Platinum Azel, so now that's a 22k attacker. And its Vanguard gains 22k as well. I mean gains 11k, I'm sorry. Calls the Remains for a good column. And calls a draw trigger as well. So Zeox is going to try to guard. Critical. giving it to Bowmains. Draw trigger. Should give that to Bowmains as well, and he does. And then Gareth. That Bowmains has 2 critical on it. But he did double critical trigger. So he did have guard. Takes the 3rd attack, and this is a 12 critical deck. If I remember Zeox's hand correctly, he should have another perfect guard in hand. Two passes. Smart strategy considering that this is 12 crit. He gave the power to the Vanguard hoping to crit. It didn't happen. Drops Azel Scissors from hand. Calls the Bowmains so he can give 10,000 to Bowmains and the Vanguard. Smart idea. He did get Lop-Ear Shooter from that, but I think Lop-Ear calls to open. Oh no, it doesn't call to open. Still, it would have caused him a discard in order to do it. And this is more power. Nothing good in the checks. And another heal trigger in the damage. Zeox getting a good look at all of his triggers now. And these trigger checks are really the only thing keeping him alive in this match right now. So this time no passes. Wait, that was a draw trigger. So this isn't 12 crit. He just has a variety of criticals. I mean a variety of triggers. So now he does another stride. This time bringing out the other Gold Paladin stride, which is Campbell. First attack is 12. 31 to the Vanguard. And there's a heal trigger. Heal goes off. And a critical. This could end it. Wait, what? That was a 4th drive check. He accidentally checked 1 extra, or he lost track of how many times he had drove check. He put the unit back. I'm trying to see if Gaia shuffled or not. And I'm not really able to tell. Zeox was able to guard the final attack, although it was kind of barely. Still doesn't have generation break because he'd have to do another stride. He could counterblast 1 and retire that and give 2 units an extra 5,000 power. Gaia decides to no pass. Another perfect guard. Calls a 14k column. I don't think he shuffled after he put the card back. Not that it means much now. Zeox no guards. Heal trigger. And Blonde Azel. So 21k at the Vanguard. That looked like what he got from the draw trigger. Which means there's a heal out of deck. I'm gonna assume Zeox's deck is 8 crit 4 draw with trigger variety. Makes it hard for the opponent to count how many of a certain kind of trigger is in the deck. Makes it hard for him to do the same. Strides into Saint Blow. And is going to use Ultimate's ability. He can call 2 units from his hand. And they'll both gain 5k. Chooses to call the Knight of Great Spear. One of his 2 remaining cards is a perfect guard. The other one is a card I don't know what it is. That I don't know. He chooses to only call 1 unit. And then uses Saint Blow. 44k to the Vanguard, 2 critical. And Gaia still has a perfect guard. No triggers for Zeox, which means Gaia doesn't have to guard this. Guards it anyway. Trying to keep his damage low, just in case. And now Gaia is doing another stride. And he brings out Blizza. This is a good time for Blizza, just because in the last few turns of this match, this could be devastating. The only problem with it is that gains 30,000 power. Problem is, Zeox does still have a perfect guard. Probably his last one, actually. Gives a critical power to the rear guard. He's attacking for 14. It's a 5k block. The question isn't can he guard this, it's can he guard this and the critical. Guy is giving him a chance to take this attack, bank on a heal trigger. Zeox can't guard. Zeox can't guard. And the match is over. Very good game. Both players down to almost their entire deck. And we're moving on to the next one.